there, and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Angie, and I am a chemist who loves makeup. Today we're going to talk about the new Covergirl Active Foundation, which we've been seeing pop up in a lot of drugstore brands, including Maybelline and Wet n Wild as well. So we're going to see if there's any sort of merit in terms of ingredients to support this active label, or if it's all just marketing hype and this is just a regular foundation. And if you want to see more videos where I dive deep into ingredients using my chemist background to research the ingredients and report back my findings to you, don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you will always be notified when I upload a new one. With that, let's get into the video. So the first ingredient is octinoxate, and this is the sunscreen ingredient in this foundation. You might have heard about this ingredient in the news. Recently, Hawaii banned certain sunscreen ingredients to be sold in Hawaii, including octinoxate, because studies have shown that it contributes to coral bleaching. I'm actually really curious to know if you live in Hawaii or happen to know if this product is actually sold in Hawaii or other foundations with this as a sunscreen, because I wonder if it's marketed as makeup that it's okay. If you don't live near any coral reefs, you're probably not going to contribute to coral bleaching by wearing a foundation with this ingredient. But if you want to avoid this ingredient, there are also things that are referred to as physical sunscreens, such as zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, that will also protect you, but are not known to contribute to coral bleaching. So if you go out there and look, you may find a study that says octinoxate is harmful to humans, but how these studies were conducted is not applicable to how people use sunscreen. Either they used amounts that were too high, do something like feed them to lab rats, which is not how anybody uses sunscreen, so this is not relevant. Currently, the maximum levels allowed in the US is 7.5%, and in the EU, it is up to 10% concentration of octinoxate. And if you didn't know, sunscreen is tested for efficacy and is given an SPF based on a coverage amount of 2 milligrams per centimeter squared. Since this is a liquid, this is going to be easy to achieve if you use a decent amount. If you try to use a minimal amount, you may not get the specified coverage that is indicated on the packaging. One good thing about having something like sunscreen in a foundation is that it's treated more so like a drug. So this means that it's going to have a defined expiration date. A lot of times foundations without the sunscreen claim will have something like a little open jar, but that just kind of indicates when you open it. If something is sitting on a store shelf for 2 years, it's even though nobody's opened it, it's probably still not gonna look the same. So having a defined expiration date really helps. And the way that they determine these expiration dates is they will basically lock the product up in a controlled environment and will test it at regular intervals to confirm if it still has the SPF coverage, and usually as well that it still maintains its appearance and isn't separating or anything. So the first ingredient in the active ingredients is cyclopentasiloxane, which was also the first ingredient in the Morphe foundation. If you want to see that video, I will link it up above. And this ingredient is marketed to be sweatproof. This makes sense because this is a liquid silicone and it evaporates very rapidly at room temperature. And this also acts as a water repellent, which is going to be really important if you're working out, that you want this to dry fast because it's supposed to be like an on-the-go kind of foundation. And you want it to repel water because you don't want your makeup breaking up if you're intending to wear this in conditions where you're going to be sweating. The next ingredient is water, which in this case it makes sense because you're probably going to have less water-soluble ingredients in this foundation, meaning that they will dissolve in water, and probably more that you want to dissolve into that cyclopentasiloxane. Because if it's water-soluble, that means your foundation is also going to break down when you're sweating and whatnot. The next ingredient is butylene glycol, and this is where that Morphe foundation is going to actually differ from this one, because this is going to thin out this foundation and also make it more hydrating. The density of butylene glycol is very close to that of water, so it's going to kind of bring it down more to like a water, I guess like a very generically thickness is how I would probably describe it. And since it's more lightweight, it's going to be more ideal for working out. Butylene glycol is also a humectant, which means that's going to help attract water to your skin. And this is also going to be more ideal because you don't really want to have to use a hydrating primer underneath this, because this is supposed to be an on-the-go type of foundation. And one thing to note is this can be an allergen to some people, but if you have not had any reactions to products with butylene glycol in it, having butylene glycol in this product should not cause a reaction to you. Next is talc. In this case, I believe it's to make the foundation more opaque. This is supposed to be like a lightweight foundation, but you do still want some coverage, so that's why I believe this is put into the foundation. There are a couple ingredients in here that are acrylates, which are film formers in this case, which means that these are gonna help make this a more long wear type of foundation. And lastly, I did want to mention that there is denatured alcohol in here because a lot of people are trying to avoid that. I did want to point out that it is below phenoxyethanol, which is a preservative, and fragrance, and these two are almost never used above 1%, and since it's listed after that, it's safe to assume that there's less than 1% alcohol in this foundation. I don't think it's gonna do much at this concentration, but if you were looking to avoid alcohol, I did want to mention that. So overall, my opinion is this is gonna be good for someone on the go. Maybe you do go to the gym before work, or you just wanna continue to look okay when you go to the gym after work, or maybe you work a more strenuous job, maybe you're running around all day, you're sweating, you're in a hot environment, anything like that. I think that this would be good for somebody like that. I think this is gonna work well for people who have normal to mildly oily skin. It looks like a lot of these ingredients aren't super drying, but I also think that some of them cater more towards oily skin, and I also think the fact that it isn't like a super high coverage foundation is gonna make it work for more people because it shouldn't be as cakey. And this product was so interesting to me because we've talked about all of these ingredients on my channel before. So it kind of just goes to show you that a lot of these ingredients in these foundations and makeup are the same, and levels are just adjusted to fit the marketing of whatever they're trying to sell. In this case, a foundation that's more suited for an active lifestyle. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this whole active line. I think it's super interesting and I kind of want to look into some other products. And also don't forget to give this video a like if you want me to do more drugstore products, because I haven't done a lot on my channel and I'm kind of interested in checking out more drugstore products. And also don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. And with that, I will see you in my next video. Bye!